Hello everyone. Today we are continuing to discuss about anxiety, and as I promised, today we are going to discuss what's causing anxiety, which thoughts might be prevalent, and what might be feeding anxiety, and how to break free and to help yourself to cope with anxiety better and to act despite presence of anxiety. This video doesn't diagnose and doesn't replace treatment, but it provides a solid conceptual framework. It can help to increase your awareness and to have some ideas to teach yourself to ask different questions that might help to break this cycle that's feeding anxiety and panic attacks. And you might have some basic ideas on how you can help yourself in case if you will be experiencing intense anxiety or panic attacks. Don't forget that anxiety is not a weakness, it's a sign of being human, and anyone might have certain levels of anxiety at some points in their lives, especially if the stress and if a lot of negative experiences are present. And anxiety is a learned alarm habit, and anything that learned can be relearned. And by attending psychotherapy, increasing your awareness, and using evidence-based strategies, you can learn to cope with anxiety and to act and thrive despite anxiety and panic attacks. One of the main reasons why anxiety increases is having certain thought patterns. And anxiety often works like this. First, you sense some signals of anxiety. This can be trembling, your heart palpitation, or you feel dizzy. Then your mind interprets these signs as danger, as if something wrong is happening to you. And this time, your body sends even more signals. So, anxiety is not something like feeling bad, it's a package of interpretation, prediction, and attempts to control. And becoming aware of this pattern, like what exactly is happening with you, how you are interpreting it, what are you doing, might help you to gain some insights how you can change and what kind of change you want to see. And once you become aware of these thoughts and how you are reacting, you can relearn using psychotherapy how to respond differently and how to decrease anxiety levels and panic attack. For instance, imagine that two people are experiencing the same bodily sensations. One of them interprets these sensations as if my stress is up and continues to move on, continues with his work, and the other person thinks that something is definitely wrong with him and something tragic is gonna happen, and this even intensifies their levels of anxiety and panic. So the difference in their approach is how they are making meaning from what they are experiencing, and depending on that, their symptoms are increasing and decreasing, or they are being able to cope with it better. So, in short, your body sends some warnings whenever you are experiencing panic and anxiety symptoms, and your mind translates it as if it's a catastrophe, and therefore anxiety rises. So, how you would like to interpret these signals if this video was useful for you? How you would like to respond instead? And what difference would it make if you could stay calm and if you could do whatever it's important for you at that moment, even when anxiety or panic are present, or if they were not impacting you so considerably? What difference can it create in your life, in your relationships, in your career, in your studies? And which version of you would you like to see when you are coping better with anxiety? If you will be able to understand what change you are seeking, it will be easier for you to find ways of achieving this goal. Now we are going to discuss about core thought patterns that generally increase anxiety. As you are listening, try to ask yourself, is this familiar with what you are feeling and thinking? Thinking about the worst possible scenario that might happen, especially after the pandemic all of us became more anxious, especially our health. And oftentimes we are thinking about worst case scenarios that might definitely happen. For instance, people who have panic attacks, and if they are experiencing palpitations, they might interpret it as if something wrong is happening with me and I might have a heart attack or I will die. And this would cause even more anxiety, even more panic. Therefore, what you can do in this case is that go for a checkup and speak with a medical professional in order to check is there anything wrong with your heart, and in case if there is no danger, the symptoms of panic attacks are not dangerous, and generally panic attacks are lasting maximum for 30 minutes, and depending on secondary reaction, this time can be decreased. And as a result, you can learn to respond to these symptoms in a manner that will not impact your functioning, and it will not influence you in a negative manner. So, at times when you are having palpitations, using some grounding exercises, as we have already discussed, any type that might suit you that you might use can help to calm down. And once you will be able to notice thoughts such as why I'm having palpitations, am I having heart attack? Noticing this as just thoughts and not reality can help you to stay grounded, to calm down, and to help yourself to feel better. What helps you to stay grounded or calm or keep moving at times when you are catastrophizing? What are you noticing different that you are doing during these exceptional times? If you will if you will be able to find out what exactly helped you in the past to stay calm, to react to anxiety and panic attacks with less anxiety, less panic, you might use these strategies again. Maybe it was like connecting with someone, or going outside, or going for a walk, changing your position, washing your face with cold water, using grounding exercises, breathing exercises, whatever has helped you in the past might be useful to be able to cope with anxiety, or which, like, what did you notice during times when you coped better? What were your thinking patterns, or which beliefs helped you to stay calm during those moments? So, finding your own resources, because they are unique to everyone, might help you to cope with these bodily sensations or other panic attack and anxiety symptoms better. And another source of anxiety might be intolerance towards uncertainty. Oftentimes, we want to control things, especially if we had adverse experiences in the past, negative experiences. When uncertainty increases, anxiety might be also increasing. For instance, we might be worrying about our health, about our future, about career. And when we sense this uncertainty, uh, anxiety might arise. However, it's important to ask yourself, what is uncertainty? Is there any certainty at all? Because oftentimes we are thinking about the future, and or we are worrying too much about the past, and we predict as if this might happen again. However, there is no, like, we don't have much control over things. For instance, we don't know what might happen in the next moment, what might happen. Like, there are certain things we can do that are within our control. However, we cannot control everything. And the moment we realize it, we can change a relationship with uncertainty. When we realize that there are almost nothing that is certain for 100%, we can start to accept uncertainty as not something that we need to feel scared or fear, but we can see it as an opportunity for growth, for development, for constructing something meaningful, developing your relationships, or building new memories, or using your time with curiosity and filling your life with things that are meaningful for you. So, after accepting the fact that there is no certainty, and asking yourself, what kind of person do I want to be even in the presence of uncertainty? And what would be the first signs that I'm carrying those characteristics or features that I want to see in myself? For instance, at times of uncertainty, or when uncertainty increases, how I would like to respond to it, and how I would like to act, which activities I will be doing. For instance, how you used to react in the past, what you used to do in the past, and what you are willing to change, and what difference can it create in your life, and in how can and what impact it can have in the lives of other people. So asking yourself these questions can help you to have a better ideas on what can be changed and what can be done, even when there are some things that you cannot control. And for instance, if there wasn't anxiety when uncertainty is present, what you would like to see instead of anxiety. Some of my clients are saying that they would like to be more courageous or peaceful with themselves, to stay calm. And what would be the first signs that you are being calm, courageous, or patient, or like any other things that you want to become? How would other people would notice that you are that version of you, and what you would be doing differently when uncertainty will increase? So, uncertainty doesn't mean danger, it means you are alive, engaged, and human. And imagine if we knew everything that will happen with us tomorrow, in 1 year, in 10 years, and if we lived knowing everything, this would be also unbearable. And also, in a sense, uncertainty is a ground, is a soil where we can create ourselves. Like, if everything was known, there would be no sense of doing anything. And actually, uncertainty is an opportunity for us to reveal ourselves, to understand ourselves, what's important for you during times of like what you would like to do, even if you didn't know what would be the outcome, what kind of life you would like to have, which version of you would like to see, even when you are doing something but you don't know what will be the outcome, what will be the conditions. So in a sense, uncertainty can be used as an opportunity for growth, for development, to understand yourself better, to create yourself, your identity, your character. In many Buddhist resources, impermanence is the only certainty, because everything changes: our bodies, thoughts, emotions, circumstances. Everything is changes, and in a sense, as I have already mentioned, certainty might seem as if it's just like not something real, like not realistic thing, because it's not possible to have certainty in reality. Therefore, anxiety becomes as something that resists the truth, whereas acceptance of uncertainty aligns with it and creates a ground for us to create and to make meaning from our lives. And in that sense, certainty is the enemy of growth, and meaningful life requires risk, doubt, and emotional exposure. And certainty collapses quickly when examined closely. We know we never know the future, and we assume continuity because of habits. For instance, if we are having dinner every day at certain time, we assume that we are going to have this dinner because of our habits. However, nobody knows what's going to happen, and there is also uncertainty is present, but how we interpret experiences we have or realities we have, like according to our relationship with uncertainty and certainty, we can change levels of anxiety, and we can learn to act even in the presence of uncertainty. We can become more courageous, peaceful, or calm, depending on what kind of change you want to see in yourself, even in the presence of uncertainty. Uncertainty exists because we are free, and in that sense, uncertainty is an indication of the fact that we have the freedom to make some choices, and we must choose without guarantees. Certainty would eliminate freedom, like if everything was certain. Uncertainty is not a punishment, and we can accept it as a teacher that sheds light and helps to form what's meaningful for you, to help you to identify meaning for you. Another common thought that makes anxiety worse is misinterpreting bodily sensations, as we have already started to discuss. When you have bodily sensations, you might think that this is dangerous. For instance, air hunger might you might interpret air hunger as I'm suffocating, and in panic, hyperventilation is also common. You might think that I'm going to die if I cannot breathe. However, when you reframe it as this is a normal symptom of anxiety and panic attack, and if you understand that this is happening because you care about certain things or because you experience something fearful or something tragical, you might be more self-compassionate towards yourself during those times, and you might feel safe during those moments, and anxiety would become manageable and would slowly decrease, helping you to relax and to feel more grounded. And another thought that might be accompanied with panic attack and anxiety symptoms is that what people would think about you. Many people are not scared of anxiety and panic attack symptoms, but how might other people uh, think about them? For instance, they are scared if I will faint, what would other people think about me? They would think that I'm ill or something wrong is happening with me, or they might think that their reputation might be damaged. And therefore, for instance, many people who are having panic attacks prefer to sit close to the door so that they can escape if they start having these symptoms. So, again, how we can work with these thoughts is that have this already happened to you, or you can look at statistics, what people are thinking when they see that somebody is experiencing panic attacks. Do they really think that way, or what's you can also research, for instance, what's happening when a person is having panic attacks. Generally, people are being very helpful and coming and helping, supporting, even asking what's wrong with them. Like there is no evidence that people are going to act in this way. And how helpful is this thought for you? Is it helping you to decrease anxiety, to recover, or is it making your anxiety even more? And what can be some other thoughts that you can use to interpret this situation that might help you to recover and to feel better? Another common trend seen in panic attack and anxiety is all or nothing thinking. Some people are placing very strict and harsh rules towards themselves that they should be 100% perfect, they should do everything perfectly, and that they need to be completely fine, otherwise, they will be failing. That speeches, for instance, need to be perfect. However, is it serving you in the long run or not? And anxiety management requires accepting the fact that nothing is perfect, none of us is perfect, and growth and development generally happens when we slowly take action despite knowing that we are not perfect. And recovery also might be not linear, like there would be some ups and downs, and accepting this fact and being compassionate towards yourself, being kind towards yourself can help to achieve the desired change faster. When anxiety shows up, what does it convince you must happen before you act? Try to ask yourself and to answer to these questions, and once you will be experiencing anxiety and panic attacks, it will help you to react to these thoughts in a more logical manner, maybe, or don't be caused by panic. How has waiting to feel completely fine worked so far? Was it useful for you? What evidence do you already have that action can happen without feeling okay? When was the last time you acted even though anxiety was present? What did you do before anxiety settled or without it settling at all? And what helped you to do so? And what does that say about your ability to function with anxiety rather than without it? So when we look at these exceptions, we would find what's important for the person. Sometimes, for instance, mothers who have panic attacks might help their kids because they stop focusing their attention on panic attack or anxiety, but their focus shifts towards their child. And when they are trying to help their child, anxieties decreases, or maybe there is something in your belief in your culture that makes you to feel calm, maybe praying, maybe meditating, maybe some other things, maybe animals, pets might be helping you to decrease anxiety, like whatever is meaningful for the person, whatever is important for them, you can use those factors in order to help yourself to calm down and to recover and to notice that anxiety is not always at peak. There are times, certain times when it's decreasing, and focusing on those exceptions, what's being different, how you are coping, can help to generate ideas on what you can use at times when you have anxiety and how this might help you to cope. And I'm also noticing it in PTSD. Sometimes people are having automatic feelings of sadness, anxiety, or other strong feelings without any reason. This might be happening because when something reminds you about negative experiences you had in the past, feelings come first even before the thoughts, and it might be even difficult to understand why am I having these feelings. However, asking yourself at those moments, is there a really danger? Why am I having this feeling? Might help you to stay grounded and to bring your attention to present moment and to learn to act towards what matters for you, even during times when you will have automatic feelings of sadness, anxiety, or panic. And the problem is that many people think that if I feel bad, so danger must be real, especially after accidents or adverse experiences, tragedies. People have these waves of feelings, intense feelings might be very often. And once you would learn to recognize these patterns that emotions might be arising without any logical reason, it will become easier for you to redirect yourself towards what you want to do at that point, and uh, to learn to cope with anxiety and these intense feelings. So Another ways of interpreting intense fear, anxiety, sadness, intense feeling is that if I feel fear, but it doesn't mean that there is danger. And also, again, asking yourself, where have you felt this fear before and later realized that you were not in danger? If you acted as if the feeling were a signal, not a fact, what small action would you take? For instance, imagine that you have anxiety and you are worried about your children or about your parents or about your career. What does this feeling trying to tell you? Uh, is it really a fact that something terrible is happening with your career, with your studies, with your relationships, or is it just a sign that you care about them? So when you learn to recognize that these are just signs, it will be easier for you to take action. For instance, at times when you would feel worried about your studies, you can use it as a sign to study more, to take action. For instance, if you will be worried about your kids, you can notice it as just a thought, and this thought is carries information that your kids matter to you, and it will not influence you as much as it used to influence, and you will not have secondary reaction that will feel anxiety and panic. When have you acted even though anxiety was present, and what was different about how you treated the feeling in that moment? What helps you to stay with the feeling without letting it decide your behavior? And what does this say about your ability to tolerate discomfort without danger? What action would show that fear can be present without being in charge? And another common trend is the illusion of control. Thinking that we can control everything is actually an illusion, because if I control everything, nothing will happen. Like this, these thoughts, these beliefs can be the reason why you have anxiety. And the moment you accept that not everything can be controlled, you will become psychologically flexible, and it will be easier to react to certain things, environments, circumstances, and to stay calmer. The more control you chase, the more on alert your nervous system stays. And the paradox is that trying to control anxiety often makes it even stronger, because while trying to control everything, anxiety becomes the factor that controls you. And why avoidance and safety behaviors maintain the panic cycle? In panic, people often follow this pattern. They try to escape the feeling, to avoid things that cause anxiety, seek reassurance, and in short term, it brings relief. It seems as if it's working, but in long term, it teaches the brain that if I'm avoiding this, if I'm trying to escape, it means that there is a real danger. There is something that I really need to feel scared of. Otherwise, why would I run? So it's functioning somewhere in the background. And that's why clinically we target not only avoidance, but also safety behaviors. Asking yourself what safety behaviors do you have and how do they serve you? What function do they have, and are they really helping you to decrease anxiety, or in a long run they are maintaining or increasing anxiety? Can also help you to give some insights on what you can do when anxiety arises. For instance, constantly carrying water just in case I choke, carrying water in your bag, uh, knowing that if you will have anxiety, this might help. Or not going out without someone sitting near the door, checking pulse or blood pressure, over planning just in case, leaving immediately while panic shows up. And the problem is that the brain never learns. If I stay, then it passes. So, slowly determining what are some patterns that what this kind of patterns you have, that while you are trying to keep yourself safe, actually you are teaching your brain that there can be a danger, whereas there is no danger in reality. Slowly noticing these patterns and exposing yourself to situations that feel uncomfortable can slowly help you to learn that there is nothing to feel scared, or even if there is a reason, it's not as exaggerated as our minds are showing us. So generally, exposure starts with the things that are least feared, and slowly you can increase and start to target things that are most feared. And if you have any health complications, of course, it's always better to do this with the help and assistance of medical professionals, psychotherapists, psychiatrists, and it's always useful to use their suggestions, their opinions. I hope this video was useful for you. If you have more questions, and if you would like to share your own experiences, how you are coping with anxiety, panic attacks, and what are some challenges you are experiencing, you are always welcome to leave your questions in the comments, and I will be glad to help you and to assist you further.